Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about maintaining the collection in the library, more specifically the crew method. In order to keep a library up to date, we use the crew method. Crew stands for continuous review, evaluation, and weeding of books in the library. The most common acronym used to weed out books in the library is called MUSTIE. I know, but the M stands for misleading, so wrong, outdated information. The U stands for ugly or damaged books. The S stands for superseded, so meaning there's a better or newer version. The T stands for trivial, no real value. I stands for irrelevant, not useful anymore. And E stands for elsewhere. You can get it anywhere else or somewhere else like the interlibrary loan. I used my junior high school's full-length Destiny catalog to evaluate a section of my library using the crew method. I chose to review the graphic novels section, and I did limit my search to all graphic novels available in that catalog. But this search did result in 1,511 books, making it the largest section in the library. And for comparison, most other sections only contained about 200 to 300 books. The reason I chose graphic novels was because they are especially important in my school context. My campus is a Title I campus with a predominantly Hispanic population, where graphic novels are highly engaging, especially for those reluctant readers and our English language learning population, which does make it a valuable part of the collection. The first thing I looked at was publication dates. I found that the collection is fairly current. However, there are only 9 books from 2025 and 39 books from 2024. The rest of the years, we get into larger numbers. For example, 121, 111, 148, 145, and 93 between the years of 2023 and 2019. This does show that a large portion of the collection has been updated within the last 5 to 6 years, which is a positive sign. However, my general impression of this section is that it is very, very large. It is actively used and relatively up to date, but due to its size, it is more likely including some of those old and outdated books. So some of those should be reviewed more closely. For this section, though, the main crew criteria that I would apply are irrelevant, trivial, and ugly from the MUSTIE guidelines. Since graphic novels are not typically affected by outdated factual information, misleading and superseded are less of a concern. Instead, I would focus more on removing books that are no longer popular with students or that have a low circulation within the library. Another one would be to remove physically damaged from heavy use. But based on this, I would recommend removing worn or damaged books due to frequent circulation, older titles that are no longer engaging or relevant to students, or maybe even some duplicate copies of titles that are no longer in high demand. Now, in terms of whether this section has been weeded effectively, I would say somewhat. The collection does appear current overall, but again, because it is so large, it likely contains outdated or worn out materials that could be removed to make space for newer, more relevant titles to get those kids in the library and reading. Overall, this is a strong and important section of the library, especially for supporting those diverse learners, but it would benefit from ongoing weeding and evaluation to maintain its quality and usefulness. Thanks for watching. Bye.